Hey guys, tonight we dive into the sweaty, raucous chaos of a medieval tavern, the pulsing heart of every muddy village where knights, farmers, and bards clash in a fog of ale, gossip, and questionable choices. You're trudging down a rain-slicked street, the air heavy with the stench of horse dung, damp straw, and a whiff of what might be soup or something far less appetizing. Your boots squelch in the muck, your stomach rumbles like a distant thunderstorm, and you've narrowly dodged two carts piled high with turnips, their drivers cursing as if they've got a personal grudge against vegetables. This isn't some romanticized medieval fantasy. It's a gritty, noisy mess. And you're chasing a whispered rumor of a lost friend who vanished in this very tavern. Good luck surviving the night without a bruise or a wild tale. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Drop a comment with where you're tuning in from and what time it is for you. It's always a thrill to see who's joining us from around the world. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. Your cloak is soaked, weighing you down like a wet dog, and the chill creeps into your bones like a tax collector sniffing out your last coin. You're hungry, tired, and desperate for a warm corner to dry off. But this is a medieval town, no glowing signs, no GPS, no handy app to point you to the nearest watering hole. Instead, you trust your ears, letting them guide you through the damp gloom. Past the rhythmic clang of the blacksmith's hammer and the fishmonger's bellows about fresh river eels probably caught last week, a burst of laughter and off-key singing pierces the drizzle. It's like a siren call, drawing you toward a lopsided wooden building that slants as if it's been sampling its own ale. Above the door dangles a weathered sign, its paint flaking, depicting a barrel. A bear hugging a barrel in a drunken stupor. You squint, but the shadows play tricks. Some taverns, you recall, hang a bundle of branches a bush outside to signal fresh ale, a quirky tradition so old it's why some pubs today are called the Bush. Either way, this is your destination. The tavern, where danger, news, and a mysterious rune-marked coin in your pouch might unlock more than just a drink. You grip that coin tighter, its edges worn but strangely warm in your palm. It's not much, just a grubby copper piece, etched with a faint spiral that catches the light oddly. A peddler gave it to you days ago, muttering it was lucky for tavern troubles. Lucky or cursed. It's your guide tonight, a humble token that'll evolve as you navigate this wild night. Will it buy you ale, answers, or a quick exit from a brawl? You're here to find your friend, last seen in this very tavern, and that coin feels like your only clue. You shove open the heavy, iron-hinged door, and it groans like it's auditioning for a haunted castle. A wall of warm, sour air slams into you, ale, sweat, moldy bread, and a sharp note of boiled onions. So thick it's practically a medieval perfume. Your eyes sting as they adjust to the dim glow of tallow candles, their flames flickering against soot-stained walls, casting shadows that make even the chairs look like they're plotting something. Taverns like this were vital in medieval Europe, serving not just as drinking holes, but as inns, meeting halls, and even makeshift courts where locals settle disputes over mugs of ale. The ceiling's so low you duck instinctively, and you're not even tall. Imagine the poor knight who forgets and gets a forehead full of beam. The floor is dirt, not the poetic kind, but the kind that clings to your boots like a bad decision. Someone scattered straw to clean it, but it's clumped into sticky patches, and you tiptoe to avoid a squishy spot that smells suspiciously like last night's stew. The tavern's alive, a writhing beast of noise and motion. A red-faced farmer slams his mug on a table, ranting about a chicken thief, probably the one-eyed dog, gnawing a bone under a bench like he owns the place. A bard strums a lute in the corner, missing half the strings but doubling down on passion, singing about a goose that stole his heart. You'd laugh, but you're too busy dodging a merchant's wild elbow as he haggles over grain prices nobody asked for. The crowd's a mix of everyone pilgrims muttering prayers, thieves eyeing pouches, a soldier boasting about dragons he definitely didn't slay. It's a medieval social network where gossip spreads faster than a cold in a monastery. Historians still argue whether taverns were unifying community spaces or dens of crime, with some claiming they sparked rebellions as often as friendships. You're searching for your friend, but every face is a stranger, and the noise makes it hard to think. You spot a wobbly bench near the hearth, its wood gleaming with a damp sheen ale, sweat, or something worse. You don't ask, just sit, your cloak sticking to the surface like it's got trust issues. The fire crackles, spitting sparks that double as both warmth and a fire hazard. Smoke curls lazily toward a chimney that's probably stuffed with a dead bird or two, giving the air a hazy, dreamlike quality. You're in the thick of it now, surrounded by shouting, laughter, and the clink of mugs. This isn't just a place to drink, it's a community hub where social lines blur. Farmers share benches with craftsmen, strangers become drinking buddies, and rumors like the one about your friend's disappearance take root. The sensory overload is intense. The smell's a punch of ale, wet wool, and a faint whiff of something mythical like a troll decided to bathe here once. The noise is a symphony of chaos. Mugs clatter, voices overlap, and someone's sneeze makes half the room flinch. You touch the table, its surface carved with initials, knife scars, and a crude drawing of a cow. A dragon art wasn't their strong suit. Your boots stick to the straw, and you're pretty sure the bench is plotting to tip you into the fire. Joke 1. You wonder if the tavern's clean straw policy is just a fancy way of saying we sweep the rats out weekly. Joke 2. The bard's song is so off-key, it's probably banned in 3 villages for disturbing the peace. Joke 3. You bet the tavern smell could knock out a horse good thing they're all outside. Your coin feels heavier now, its spiral rune glinting in the firelight. Is it a key to finding your friend, or just a peddler's scam? You're in the tavern's heart, a place where news travels fast. Maybe someone here knows something. But first, you need to blend in. Find a spot, and avoid the guy waving a ladle like it's a sword. The crowd's a puzzle, and you're one misplaced elbow from trouble. Can you find a seat without sparking a brawl or blowing your cover? You're still cradling that rune-marked copper coin, its faint spiral catching the tavern's dim, flickering glow, warm against your palm as if it knows you're adrift in this sweaty, raucous storm. The air hums with the sharp tang of ale, the faint whiff of boiled onions, and a haze of smoke that curls like a sleepy ghost. That one-eyed dog beneath the bench fixes you with a stare, as if you've trespassed on its kingdom of crumbs. You're here chasing a whisper, a lost friend, last seen in this very tavern, but first, you need a seat, one not soaked in ale, or worse. The tavern breathes, a living beast of voices and shadows, its crowd a slow swirl of elbows and egos. A farmer's voice rolls, deep and unhurried, weaving a tale of his cow's odd birth. The bard's song, a wobbly lament about a lovesick goose, drifts like a half-forgotten dream. You ease forward, boots clinging to the straw-dusted dirt, each step a cautious dance to find a spot where you can fade into the chaos without catching a stray mug or a fist. The hearth's soft crackle calls, its warmth a faint promise in this damp, noisy haze. You glide past a barmaid, her tray of mugs swaying gently, her eyes sharp enough to hush a storm. Joke 1 you'd wager her glance could make a dragon tuck its tail and mumble an apology. The benches by the fire are crowded, a soldier's voice drifting slow, spinning lies about slaying phantoms, his listeners chuckling over their mugs. A lone craftsman sits at a wobbly table near the wall, his hands dusted with wood shavings, his gaze calm but watchful. His spot's not perfect. The table sways like it's had too much cider, but it's safer than the corner, where a hooded figure lingers. Sipping so slowly, you wonder if they're a thief or just allergic to fun. Standing still is a risk. You're a target for pickpockets or a drunk who'll swear you're his kin. You need to blend, to vanish into the crowd's rhythm. You slip onto the craftsman's bench, the wood sighing softly under your weight. He offers a slow nod, his eyes lingering on your pouch where the coin rests. It's spiral rune, a secret tied to your friend's last night, here. Does he know something? Or is it just the firelight playing tricks? You hunch slightly, mirroring his quiet slouch, letting the tavern's hum wrap around you. Historical fact. In the 14th century, taverns like this were hiring fairs, where laborers struck deals over ale, their futures sealed with a clink of mugs and a handshake. Perhaps your friend sought work here before vanishing. The crowd weaves a tapestry of murmurs, tales of taxes, stolen livestock, a witch glimpsed beyond the woods, scholarly debate. Historians still ponder whether taverns knit communities together or fueled discord, with records of bonds forged in laughter and brawls sparked by dice. You catch the barmaid's eye with a subtle wave, copying the craftsman's easy gesture. She nods, her face a mask of indifference, perfect. Joke too, her memory's likely sharper than a monk's quill, but you're content to be a shadow for now. The tavern's noise hums like a distant lullaby, mugs clink softly. Voices rise and fall. A dice game murmurs with accusations over a bone-carved die. Quirky tidbit. Some taverns held candle auctions, where bids lasted until a flame flickered out, until someone's accidental cough snuffed it early. You smile, imagining the bard's endless tune outlasting a dozen candles, twice as grating. The hearth's crackle steadies you, its rhythm a quiet anchor in the din. The craftsman whittles a splinter, his knife catching the light. Is he a clue to your friend's fate, or just another face in this smoky sea? Your coin grows warmer, its rune almost whispering, urging you to act. You're in the tavern's heart, where secrets spill as easily as ale. Joke 3. You'd bet the dog's single eye sees more than you, probably smirking at your clumsy blending in. You need to stay sharp, ears tuned for whispers of your friend, while sidestepping the drunk waving a ladle like he's rallying an army. The barmaid's drifting closer, and your coin might buy a moment with her. Maybe she's heard something. But one misstep could draw the wrong eyes. And in this crowd, attention's a spark in a haystack. The tavern keeper looms somewhere behind, her presence a shadow over the chaos. Will your coin catch her notice or mark you as trouble? Can your strange coin win the tavern keeper's trust or paint a target on your back? The tavern's smoky haze drifts around you, a dreamy veil woven from ale fumes and the hearth's soft crackle. As your rune-marked copper coin rests warm in your pouch, its spiral rune glowing faintly like a whispered promise. You're settled on a creaky bench beside a craftsman, his whittling knife glinting in the dim candlelight, while the crowd's murmurs hum tales of taxes and wandering witches. The one-eyed dog beneath the bench fixes you with a stare, as if it knows you're chasing your lost friend. Last seen in this chaotic tavern. You've slipped into the din, your slouch echoing the craftsman's, but now you need the barmaid's nod to order a drink and perhaps pry loose a clue. Yet it's not her you're after, it's the tavern keeper, the storm god in an apron who reigns over this rowdy kingdom. Your coin might unlock her trust, maybe tied to your friend's final night, but one wrong move could mark you as trouble. You lean forward, the table's scarred wood cool beneath your fingers, and seek her shadow in the flickering glow. Behind a sagging plank propped on barrels, she stands a figure forged from grit and iron will. Her arms are thick as a blacksmith's, her eyes sharp enough to spot a thief through the smoke's lazy curl. She pours ale with one hand, swats a drunk with the other, her barked orders slicing the din like a well-aimed dart. The crowd parts for her, wary as sheep before a storm. Historical fact, in medieval England, tavern keepers often doubled as informal magistrates, settling squabbles or banning rogues. Their word as binding as a lord's within these walls. Perhaps she weighed your friend's fate. Her gaze sweeps over you, a storm cloud passing, and you feel its weight, heavy as the coin in your pouch. Joke one, you'd wager she could stare down a bear and make it buy her a round. She's more than a server. She's the tavern's pulse, keeping chaos from spilling into a riot. You notice her eyes flick to your pouch, where the coin's rune hides. Does she recognize its mark, linked to whispers of your friend's vanishing? You've heard tales of keepers who hold every secret, who's in debt, who's lying, who slipped out under a false name. Quirky tidbit. Some keepers used a tab stick, a notched piece of wood to track debts without writing, their memory sharper than a scholar's quill. Your coin might be a token she trusts or a sign you're trouble. You need her favor, but her stare says she's already pegged you as either a regular or a problem. The barmaid glides closer, her tray of mugs swaying like a boat on a quiet sea, and you raise a hand, slow and subtle, to catch her eye. She nods, but you're watching the keeper, who's now glaring at a drunk waving a ladle like it's a knight's banner. Joke, too, that ladle's probably seen more fights than the soldier spinning dragon tails across the room. Scholarly debate. Historians still ponder whether tavern keepers were community anchors or cunning profiteers, with records showing they sheltered runaways while others suggest they sold secrets for coin. If your friend crossed her, she might hold the key to their trail or the reason they're gone. You shift, the bench sighing softly under you. The craftsman pauses his whittling, his gaze lingering on your pouch. You keep it close, the coin's warmth a steady pulse, urging you to act. Offering it to the keeper could win her trust. Maybe it's a marker from a deal your friend struck or a symbol she respects. But it's a gamble. If she doesn't know it, or worse, sees it as a challenge, you'll be out the door with a ladle-shaped bruise. The tavern hums, a sleepy chaos of clinking mugs and slurred stories. A pilgrim murmurs prayers into his cider, a merchant counts coins too loudly, and the bard's goose song cracks like dry leather. Your mind drifts to the sign outside. Its crude shape, a bear, a barrel, something stranger etched in shadow. What secrets does its bizarre imagery guard? Joke, three you bet that dog's one eye could decode that sign better than you, probably smirking at your cluelessness. The hearth's crackle soothes, a quiet rhythm in the smoky din, but your pulse quickens. The keeper's the gatekeeper to answers, and your coin might be your way in or out. You need to play this carefully, offer too little, and you're ignored. Flash the coin too soon, and you're a target. Her eyes sweep the room again, pausing on you. Does she sense you're tied to something bigger? The sign's odd shape lingers in your thoughts, a puzzle waiting to be unraveled, perhaps hiding a clue to the tavern's secrets or your friends. What secrets does that bizarre sign outside conceal? The tavern's smoky warmth enfolds you, a dreamy haze of ale fumes and the hearth's gentle crackle. As your rune-marked copper coin rests warm in your pouch, its spiral rune glowing faintly like a whispered secret. You're perched on a creaky bench beside a craftsman, his whittling knife glinting in the dim candlelight, while the crowd's murmurs drift like a sleepy tide tales of lost pigs and wandering witches. The one-eyed dog beneath the bench fixes you with a stare, as if it knows you're chasing your lost friend, last seen in this chaotic tavern. The tavern keeper's storm cloud eyes still linger in your thoughts, her iron grip on this place unshakable. But now your mind drifts to the sign outside, its crude shape a bear, a barrel, something stranger etched in shadow when you arrived. That bizarre imagery nags at you, a puzzle that might hold secrets about this tavern or your friend's fate. You lean back, the bench sighing softly, and let the tavern's hum carry you back to that rain-soaked moment when you first saw it. You were trudging through the muddy street, rain dripping from your cloak, when the sign caught your eye above the tavern's door. It swayed in the drizzle, its paint chipped, the image so worn it could be a barrel swollen with ale or a bear mid-roar or maybe both, as if the artist gave up halfway. Historical fact, medieval tavern signs, often carved or painted with simple images like animals or objects, served as visual markers for illiterate patrons, guiding them to ale in towns without street signs. Perhaps this one marked more than a drinking hole. You squint in memory, picturing its weathered lines. Could that spiral rune on your coin echo its design? The thought sends a shiver through you, like the hearth's crackle whispering a clue. The sign's not just decoration. In a world without neon or billboards, these crude boards were the tavern's face, a silent call to travelers. Some bore names like the Swan or the Crown, but others, like this one, were cryptic, their images hinting at stories or warnings. Quirky tidbit. In some villages, tavern signs were painted with magical symbols to ward off evil spirits or drunkards who didn't pay, making you wonder if this sign's odd shape guards a hidden truth. You recall its details, the curves, the faint lines that might be claws or barrel hoops, the way it seemed to watch you in the rain. Joke one, you bet the sign's artist was paid in ale, judging by how blurry that bear barrel looks. You glance at the craftsman, his knife pausing as he catches your stare. Does he know what the sign means? You consider asking, but his eyes flick to your pouch, where the coin's warmth pulses, perhaps mirroring the sign's spiral. The tavern's noise hums around you, mugs clink, the bard's goose song wobbles on, a pilgrim murmurs prayers into his cider. You're still blending in, but the sign's mystery pulls at you. Could it mark this tavern as a hub for secrets, or a clue to your friend's disappearance? Scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether tavern signs were mere advertisements or coded messages, with some suggesting they marked safe houses for rebels or guilds. If your friend was tangled in something bigger, the sign might point the way. You shift, the table's knife scars rough under your palm, and picture the sign again. Was it a warning to strangers, a beacon for locals, or something stranger like a marker for those who know the coin's rune? You've heard tales of taverns as hubs for spies or smugglers, their signs hiding signals in plain sight. The keeper's gaze sweeps the room, and you duck your head, not ready to test your coin yet. Joke 2. You're sure that sign's so vague it could mean free ale or beware of dragons. Good luck guessing which. The barmaid passes, her tray swaying like a ship in a storm, and you wonder if she's seen the sign's secrets or your friend. The hearth's crackle steadies you, a soothing pulse in the smoky din. You recall the peddler who gave you the coin, his cryptic words about tavern troubles. Did he mean this sign? Its image lingers, a puzzle you can't unsee, bear, barrel, or something mythical. Its meaning just out of reach. You need to decode it, but asking openly could draw eyes. The craftsman whittles again, his silence heavy. The dog's stare feels like it's judging your ignorance. Joke 3. You bet that dog could paint a better sign, and it'd still make more sense than this one. Your coin's warmth grows, as if urging you to connect it to the sign, but your throat's dry, and the barmaid circling back. Maybe a mug of ale will loosen your thoughts, or someone's tongue. Will that cloudy ale in her tray reveal the sign's secrets, or spell trouble? The tavern's smoky haze swirls gently around you, a dreamy fog of ale and onions. The hearth's soft crackle weaving a soothing rhythm as your rune-marked copper coin hums warm in your pouch, its spiral rune a faint pulse beneath your fingers. You're tucked on a creaky bench beside the craftsman, his knife carving lazy patterns in the dim light, while the crowd's murmurs drift like a sleepy lullaby, tales of witches and wayward pigs. The one-eyed dog beneath the bench still eyes you, as if it knows you're chasing your lost friend's trail. The tavern sign's crude bearer-barrel image lingers in your mind, its mystery unsolved, but your throat's dry as old parchment, and the barmaid's tray glides past, heavy with mugs of cloudy ale. You need a drink to blend in, to loosen your thoughts, maybe even to coax a clue about that sign or your friend. But medieval ale's a gamble. Will it quench your thirst or send you sprinting to the outhouse? You raise a hand, slow and subtle, and the barmaid nods, her eyes sharp but distracted. Your coin's warmth urges you to act, but spending it might draw the keeper's storm cloud gaze. She slides a mug across the table, its contents thick and murky, like a pond after a storm. You grip the rough clay, its surface cool and slightly sticky probably from last week's stew. The ale's scent hits you sour, grainy, with a hint of something that might be yeast or regret. Historical fact. Medieval ale, brewed without hops until the late Middle Ages, was often cloudy and unfiltered. A staple drink, safer than water, which could carry disease. Maybe your friend drank this same brew before vanishing. You lift the mug, peering at the floaties swirling within bits of grain. Or worse, a stray bristle from the tavern's broom. Joke one, you bet this ale's so thick it could double as soup if the soup didn't fight back. You take a cautious sip, the warm, bitter liquid coating your tongue like a challenge. It's not cold. Ice is a distant dream in this era, and it tastes like it was brewed in the back room where the dog sleeps. Still, it's wet, and that's a victory in a world where water might kill you faster than a bandit's blade. You glance at the craftsman, who's sipping his own mug with a grimace, as if he's lost a bet with his taste buds. Does he know something about the sign? Or your friend? You lean closer, the coin's warmth pulsing as if it's tied to this moment. The ale's loosening your nerves, but you're careful too much, and you'll be singing with the bard about that lovesick goose. The tavern hums, a sleepy chaos of clinking mugs and slurred tales. A merchant counts coins too loudly. A pilgrim mutters into his cider, and the bard's song wobbles on, cracking like old boots. You wonder if the ale's murk hides answers, or just trouble. Quirky tidbit. Some medieval taverns brewed small beer for kids, weak enough to keep them alive without getting them drunk. Imagine serving that at a modern daycare. The thought makes you smirk, but the ale's warmth spreads, and you feel the crowd's eyes less keenly. Scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether ale was a medieval necessity or a social curse, with records showing it fueled both community bonds and drunken brawls. If your friend drank here, did they share a mug with a friend or start a fight? You take another sip, the ale's bite softening, and scan the room. The keeper's still behind her plank, her gaze sweeping like a hawk's. You haven't flashed your coin yet. Its rune might mean something to her, but you're not ready to test it. The barmaid passes again, and you catch a glint in her eye. Does she know the sign's secret or your friend's fate? Joke two, you're sure this ale's so cloudy it could hide a dragon, or at least a very confused minnow. The craftsman sets his mug down, wiping his mouth, and you wonder if a shared drink might loosen his tongue. But the ale's a risk too many sips, and you'll be as coherent as the drunk waving a ladle like it's a royal scepter. The hearth's crackle steadies you, its rhythm a quiet anchor in the din. Your coin feels heavier, as if it's urging you to keep probing. The sign's mystery nags, but your stomach growls, loud enough to rival the bard's off-key wail. You've survived the ale barely, but food's next, and the barmaid's tray hints at a bowl of something steaming. Joke three, You bet the dogs tasted better meals than what's coming, and it's still giving you that judgy stare. You need to eat to keep your strength, but medieval fare's as dicey as the ale. Will that bowl of mystery stew fill your belly, or send you running what's lurking in that steaming bowl the barmaid's bringing? The tavern's smoky haze curls around you, a soft fog of ale and embers. The hearth's gentle crackle, weaving a soothing hum as your rune-marked copper coin pulses warm in your pouch. Its spiral rune, a quiet spark in the dim light. You're hunched on a creaky bench, the craftsman slow whittling a steady rhythm beside you, while the crowd's murmurs drift like a drowsy tide, whispers of witches and stolen pigs. The one-eyed dog beneath the bench still watches, its gaze sharp as if it knows you're chasing your lost friend's trail. The cloudy ale you braved sits heavy in your stomach, its bitter tang lingering, but now your hunger growls louder than the bard's off-key goose song. The barmaid glides past, her tray bearing a steaming bowl of pottage, murky and warm, its surface swirling like a mystery waiting to be stirred. You need food to keep your strength in this chaotic tavern, but medieval meals are as risky as the ale. Will this pottage fill your belly or send you running for the outhouse? You catch the barmaid's eye, your coin ready to pay, hoping this meal might loosen a tongue or spark a memory of that strange bare-barrel sign outside. She sets the bowl before you, its clay warm and rough, the contents a thick brownish sludge that smells of barley, onions, and something meaty. You peer into it, spotting flecks of green herbs. You hope, not mold. Historical fact pottage, the medieval staple, was a stew of whatever was at hand, grains, vegetables, sometimes meat cooked for days in a single pot. A communal meal that fueled peasants and knights alike. Perhaps your friend ate this very brew. You stir it with a wooden spoon, its surface rippling, revealing a chunk of something that might be rabbit, or, well, best not to guess. Joke 1, you bet this pottage has been simmering since last market day, collecting stories and questionable bits. You scoop a spoonful, the warmth rising in a steamy curl, and take a cautious bite. It's thick, chewy, with a gritty texture that's either barley or the cook's bad day. It's not gourmet, nobody's asking for a recipe, but it's hot, filling, and better than the hunger gnawing at you. The craftsman glances over, his own bowl half empty, and gives a nod, as if surviving the first bite is a badge of honor. You wonder if your friend sat here, stirring a similar bowl, maybe sharing a tale with this same craftsman. The coin's warmth pulses, as if it's tied to this moment, its rune perhaps a clue to the tavern's secrets or that cryptic sign outside. You eat slowly, the pottage's heat spreading through you, loosening the ale's grip on your nerves. The tavern hums, a sleepy chaos of clinking mugs and slurred voices. The bard's song wobbles on, the pilgrim prays into his cider, and a merchant counts coins like he's auditioning for a robbery. You spot the keeper behind her plank, her storm cloud eyes sweeping the room. Does she know what's in this pottage, or what happened to your friend Quirky Tidbit? Some taverns added lucky bones to pottage, small charms meant to bring fortune, though finding one in your teeth was less charming. You smirk, checking your spoonful for surprises. Scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether pottage was a unifying meal, shared across classes, or a desperate dish for the poor, with records showing both lords and laborers slurping it. If your friend ate here, did they share this bowl with a friend or choke on a secret? Another bite, and you catch a hint of carrot, maybe a trace of pigeon. The bowl's warmth steadies you, but you're careful too much, and you'll be as woozy as the drunk waving a ladle like it's a royal scepter. Joke 2. You're sure this pottage could double as mortar, patching walls or knocking out thieves? You glance at the craftsman, who's scraping his bowl clean. Could he know about the sign, or your friend's fate? You lean closer, but the barmaid's back, her tray empty, her eyes flicking to your pouch. Does she recognize the coin's rune, or is she just eyeing your payment? The keeper's gaze lingers, and you keep the coin hidden, not ready to test her trust. The hearth's crackle soothes, a quiet pulse in the smoky din. But your thoughts race. The sign's bare-barrel image nags, its mystery unsolved, and the pottage's warmth makes you wonder if your friend found comfort here or trouble. You recall the peddler's words about tavern troubles, maybe hinting at this very meal. Joke 3, you bet the dogs tasted better stews, and it's still giving you that judgy stare. Your coin feels heavier, as if urging you to dig deeper. The crowd's growing rowdier, dice clattering across a nearby table, shouts rising over a bad roll. A game might draw you in or out you as a stranger. Will you risk it to learn more? Will joining that dice game uncover a clue or spark trouble? The tavern's smoky haze drifts around you, a soft veil of ale and embers. The hearth's gentle crackle, a soothing pulse as your rune-marked copper coin glows warm in your pouch. Its spiral rune, a quiet spark in the flickering light. You're slumped on a creaky bench, the craftsman's knife carving slow arcs beside you, while the crowd's murmurs hum like a drowsy lullaby, tales of witches and lost livestock. The one-eyed dog beneath the bench still watches, its gaze sharp as if it knows you're chasing your lost friend's trail. The pottage you brave sits heavy, its murky warmth settling in your stomach. But the tavern sign's bare-barrel mystery lingers, unanswered. Now. A new sound cuts through the din, the clatter of dice across a nearby table, followed by shouts and laughter. A group of locals, red-faced and loud, are deep in a game, their coins and pride on the line. You're drawn to it, the energy pulling you like the hearth's glow. Could a game uncover a clue about your friend or that cryptic sign? But joining means risking your coin and blending in with cheating regulars. You hesitate, your fingers brushing the rune spiral as the barmaid's shadow passes. The dice table's a chaotic island in the tavern's sea, its players a mix of farmers and traders, their mugs sloshing as they roll. A burly man with a scarred hand tosses bone dice, carved unevenly, and curses as they land poorly. His opponent, a wiry trader, grins too widely, palming a die when he thinks no one's looking. Historical fact. Dice games, like hazard, were medieval tavern staples, often played with bone or wood dice, fueling bets and brawls. Maybe your friend rolled here before vanishing. You edge closer, the table's surface scarred like the one you're sitting at, littered with copper coins and spilled ale. Joke 1. You bet those dice are so crooked they could roll uphill and still lose. You're no gambler, but the crowd's energy is infectious, and you need answers. The coin in your pouch feels heavier, its rune urging you to act. Could it buy you a seat at the table, or mark you as a stranger? You catch the trader's eye, and he waves you over, his grin sharp as a blade. You slide toward the table, the craftsman glancing up, his whittling paused. Does he know the game's rigged, or something about your friend? The tavern hums, a sleepy chaos of clinking mugs and the bard's endless goose song. The keeper's storm cloud gaze sweeps from her plank, and you keep your pouch close, not ready to flash the coin. Quirky tidbit. Some taverns used loaded dice, weighted with lead to favor. Regulars imagine the fights when someone caught on. You smirk, wondering if the trader's grin hides such a trick. You toss a plain copper coin, not the rune-marked one, onto the table, claiming a spot. The players nod, sizing you up, and hand you the dice. They're smooth, worn, but heavier on one side, definitely rigged. You roll, the dice clattering like tiny thunder, landing on a low number. The trader chuckles, scooping your coin, but you're watching his hands, not the dice. Scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether tavern games built camaraderie or bred deceit, with records showing dice matches sparked friendships and knife fights alike. If your friend played here, did they win a friend or lose their purse? You roll again, losing another coin, but you're listening. Someone mutters about a stranger who rolled too well last week. Your friend. The hearth's crackle soothes, a steady rhythm in the smoky din. But your pulse quickens. The game's a gamble, not just for coins, but for secrets. You lean in, mimicking the trader's easy slouch, and ask about that stranger. He shrugs, but his eyes flick to the keeper, who's watching like a hawk. Does she know about your friend, or the sign's spiral joke too? You're sure the dice are so fixed they could cheat a monk out of his prayers. The barmaid passes, her tray empty, and you wonder if she overheard your friend's game. Your rune-marked coin stays hidden, its warmth a quiet nudge. You need to play smart win too much, and you're a target. Lose too much, and you're broke. The trader rolls again, his grin widening as he wins another round. You're losing coins, but gaining ears. The crowd's loose tongues might spill something. The dog's stare feels heavier, as if it's betting against you. Joke 3, you bet that dog's the real gambler here, probably hiding a winning die under its paw. The tavern's energy pulls you deeper, the dice clattering like a call to action. You're in the game now, but it's more than coins at stake. Will a clever roll draw out a clue, or pull you into a brawl? The table's getting rowdier, and a bard's strumming louder, his voice rising over the chaos. Will the bard's wild tale reveal your friend's fate? The tavern's smoky haze wraps you in a dreamy fog, the hearth's soft crackle blending with the clink of mugs as your rune-marked copper coin hums warm in your pouch, its spiral rune a faint glow in the dim light. You're slumped at the dice table, the craftsman's whittling a distant rhythm, while the crowd's murmurs drift like a sleepy tide, tales of witches and lost bets. The one-eyed dog beneath the bench still watches, its gaze sharp as if it knows you're chasing your lost friend's trail. The dice game's heat lingers, your coins lighter, but your ears sharper, catching a mutter about a stranger who rolled too well. The pottage and ale sit heavy, the tavern sign's bare-barrel mystery unsolved. But now a new sound rises, a bard's voice, rough and bold, strumming a lute in the corner. His ballad fills the air, half true and wild, weaving tales of heartbreak and heroes. Could his words hold a clue to your friend's fate? Or are they just tavern smoke? You lean back, the bench creaking softly, and let his song pull you in, your coin's warmth urging you to listen. The bard's a wiry figure, his cloak patched, his lute missing strings but played with reckless passion. He sings of a knight who loved a mermaid, drowned reciting poetry under a moonlit sea. Nobody believes it, but the crowd sways, mugs raised. Historical fact: medieval bards, or minstrels, were traveling storytellers, often hired to spread news or entertain lords, their songs mixing truth and myth to bind communities. Perhaps your friend heard this bard's tale. His voice cracks on a high note, and you wince, but the story's pull is undeniable. Joke 1, you bet his lute's so out of tune it could make the dog howl if it wasn't already snoring. You sip your ale, its cloudy bite fading, and focus on the lyrics. The bard shifts to a new verse, something about a traveler with a strange coin, lost in a tavern brawl. Your heart skips. Could that be your friend? The coin in your pouch feels heavier, its rune pulsing as if it recognizes the tale. You glance at the craftsman, who's paused his whittling, eyes on the bard. Does he know the story, or is he just drunk? The tavern hums, a sleepy chaos of laughter and clinking mugs. The keeper's storm cloud gaze sweeps from her plank, and you wonder if she's heard this song before or silenced it. Quirky tidbit. Some bards hid coded messages in their songs, passing secrets to rebels or lovers right under a lord's nose. Imagine the chaos if the keeper caught on. The bard's tale turns darker, singing of a shadowed figure who vanished after a dice game, their coin left behind. The crowd cheers, missing the weight of it, but you lean forward, the table scars rough under your palms. Is this your friend's story, twisted into myth, scholarly debate? Historians still argue whether bardic tales were mere entertainment or oral history, with some claiming they preserved truths lost to written records. If your friend's fate is woven into this song, the bard might know more than he lets on. You consider approaching him, but his wild gestures and the crowd's roars make it risky draw attention, and you're a target. The hearth's crackle soothes, a steady pulse in the smoky din, but your thoughts race. The sign's bare barrel image nags, its spiral rune echoing your coins. Did your friend hear this bard, or leave a clue in his lyrics? The barmaid passes, her tray empty, and you catch her glancing at the bard. Does she know his tales? Joke too, you're sure his song's so wild it could spark a brawl or a romance, depending on the ale. The craftsman sets his knife down, muttering about a foolish traveler. You keep your coin hidden, its warmth urging caution. The keeper's eyes linger as if she senses your interest in the song. You take another sip of ale, its warmth spreading, and weigh your next move. The bard's voice rises, now singing of a lost love and a cursed coin too close to your own story. You need to know if he's just spinning tales or dropping hints. Asking directly could out you, but listening might reveal more. The dog's stare feels heavier, as if it's judging your hesitation. Joke 3, you bet that dogs heard better stories, probably barking its own epic by now. The tavern's energy pulls you deeper, the bard's words a thread in the chaos. But a clumsy flirt at a nearby table catches your ear a loud compliment, a spilled mug, and rising voices. Could their chatter spill a secret will? That clumsy flirt's words reveal your friend's fate? The tavern's smoky haze drifts around you, a soft veil of ale and embers. The hearth's gentle crackle, weaving a sleepy rhythm as your rune-marked copper coin pulses warm in your pouch, its spiral rune, a faint spark in the dim light. You're slumped at the dice table, the craftsman's knife carving slow arcs beside you, while the bard's wild ballad of lost travelers and cursed coins fades into the crowd's murmurs tales of witches and bad bets. The one-eyed dog beneath the bench still watches, its gaze sharp as if it knows you're chasing your lost friend's trail. The pottage and ale settle heavy, the tavern sign's bare-barrel mystery lingering. But now a new commotion stirs a clumsy flirt at a nearby table, his loud compliment spilling ale and raising voices. His words, slurred and bold, might hold a clue to your friend's fate or spark a brawl in this chaotic tavern. You lean forward, the table's scars rough under your palms, and listen, your coin's warmth urging you to catch every word. Will this drunken romance reveal a secret or ignite trouble? A red-faced farmer, his mug half empty, leans toward a barmaid, his voice booming with praise for her eyes brighter than the hearth's glow. She rolls her eyes, dodging his hand, and the crowd chuckles. But her suitor's friend, a wiry trader, takes offense, slamming his mug down. Historical fact, medieval taverns were hotbeds for flirting, often leading to marriages or fights. As social norms loosened under ale's sway, maybe your friend got caught in such a scene. The barmaid's sharp retort cuts through, and you smirk, sensing a storm brewing. Joke 1, you bet her tongue's sharper than a knight's sword, and twice as likely to draw blood. The flirt's words turn bolder, now boasting of a stranger with a strange coin he saw last week, his voice loud enough to draw eyes. Your heart skips. Could that be your friend? The coin in your pouch feels heavier, its rune pulsing as if it's part of this tale. You glance at the craftsman, who's paused his whittling, his eyes on the flirting pair. Does he know this story? Or is he just enjoying the show? The tavern hums, a sleepy chaos of clinking mugs and the bard's fading goose song. The keeper's storm cloud gaze sweeps from her plank, and you wonder if she's heard this flirt's tale before or silenced it. Quirky tidbit. Some tavern flirtations were staged, with barmaids paid to charm patrons into buying more ale. Imagine the fights when a suitor realized he'd been played. The trader shoves the farmer, accusing him of insulting the barmaid, and mugs wobble as the crowd leans in, eager for drama. You're still blending in, but the flirt's words nag at you. Did your friend spark a similar scene, or leave a clue in a lover's spat scholarly? Debate historians still argue whether tavern flirting fostered community bonds or fueled chaos, with records showing it led to both weddings and knife fights. If your friend was tangled in a flirt gone wrong, the barmaid might know more. You consider asking her, but the rising voices make it risky draw attention, and you're in the middle of a brawl. The hearth's crackle soothes, a steady pulse in the smoky din, but your pulse quickens. The sign's bare-barrel image and the bard's tale of a lost traveler linger, their mysteries tied to your coin. The barmaid dodges another clumsy grab, tossing a bread crust at the farmer's head, and the crowd roars. Joke 2, you're sure that crust's harder than the pottage, and twice as likely to knock him out. The craftsman chuckles, muttering about foolish drunks. You keep your coin hidden, its warmth urging caution. The keeper's eyes linger, as if she senses your interest in the spat. Does she know about the stranger with the coin? You sip your ale, its cloudy warmth fading, and weigh your next move. The flirt's words echo, hinting at a stranger who vanished after a heated night too close to your friend's story. You need to know if the barmaid heard more, but approaching her now could pull you into the chaos. The dog's stare feels heavier, as if it's judging your hesitation. Joke 3, you bet that dog's seen better flirts, probably wooing its own tail by now. The tavern's energy pulls you deeper, the flirt's words a thread in the din. But the voices rise, mugs clatter, and a shove turns into a stumble troubles brewing, and you're too close to avoid it. Will a brawl's chaos uncover your friend's secret or pull you in? The tavern's smoky haze curls around you, a dreamy fog of ale and embers. The hearth's gentle crackle weaving a soothing hum as your rune-marked copper coin pulses warm in your pouch, its spiral rune a faint spark in the dim light. You're hunched at the dice table. The craftsman's knife paused beside you, while the crowd's murmurs hum like a sleepy tide tales of witches and bad bets. The one-eyed dog beneath the bench still watches, its gaze sharp as if it knows you're chasing your lost friend's trail. The flirt's clumsy words about a stranger with a strange coin echo, the pottage and ale heavy in your stomach, the sign's bare-barrel mystery unsolved. Now, the flirt's spat erupts, a mug crashes. The trader shoves the farmer, and shouts rise like a storm. A brawl's brewing, mugs wobbling, benches creaking, and you're too close to the chaos. Could this madness uncover a clue about your friend, or pull you into a comical tumble? You grip your pouch, the coin's warmth urging caution, and brace for the fray, eyes darting for an escape. The farmer stumbles, his red face redder, swinging a wild fist that misses and topples a stool. The trader laughs, dodging, but spills his ale, soaking a nearby pilgrim who howls in protest. The crowd roars, some cheering, others sliding mugs out of harm's way. Historical fact. Tavern brawls were common in medieval Europe, often sparked by petty disputes over dice or flirtations, rarely fatal, but always chaotic. Maybe your friend was caught in one. The keeper's storm cloud gaze cuts through from her plank, her ladle raised like a general's sword. Joke 1, you bet that ladles knocked out more drunks than a knight's mace. You duck as a bread crust sails past, probably the barmaid's doing, her eyes sharp as she weaves through the chaos. The brawl's more comedic than deadly fists swing wide. A drunk trips into a table, and someone's cloak gets tangled in a bench. You slide back, trying to stay clear, but the craftsman grabs your arm, muttering, "Stay low, stranger." Does he know about your friend, or is he just saving his drinking buddy? The coin's rune pulses, as if tied to this moment. Did your friend face a similar fray? Quirky tidbit? Some taverns had a brawl corner, a spot where fights were allowed to avoid wrecking the whole place. Imagine the cleanup otherwise. You smirk, picturing the dog claiming that corner for its naps. The chaos peaks, a mug flying overhead, shattering against a wall. The bard's goose song falters, his lute silenced as he ducks under a table. The keeper roars, her voice cutting through like thunder, and the crowd pauses, some stumbling back to their seats. Scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether tavern brawls were harmless fun or social threats, with records showing they bonded communities as often as they bruised them. If your friend was in a brawl, did they escape or leave a clue? You scan the room, spotting the barmaid pulling the farmer away, her glare fiercer than the fight, the traders laughing, nursing a bruised cheek, and you wonder if their spats spilled secrets about your friend. The hearth's crackle soothes, a steady pulse in the smoky din, but your heart races. The sign's bare-barrel image and the bard's tale of a lost traveler nag, their mysteries tied to your coin. You keep it hidden, its warmth urging you to stay sharp. The brawl's dying down, the keeper's ladle restoring order, but you're still too close to the fray. Joke 2, you're sure the keeper's ladle deserves a ballad of its own, probably scarier than the bard's. The craftsman releases your arm, returning to his whittling. But his glance lingers. Does he know more than he lets on? The barmaid's back, sweeping up shards, and you catch her muttering about a stranger's fight last week. Your friend. You ease back, the bench creaking, and weigh your next move. The brawls left the crowd looser, tongues wagging with tales of the fight. You need to listen, but the tavern's energy is fading, and your eyes grow heavy from ale and pottage. The dog's stare feels sharper, as if it's judging your survival skills. Joke 3. You bet that dog's seen worse brawls and still kept its bones safe. The keeper's eyes sweep the room, and you wonder if she'll ban you for being near the chaos. Your coin feels heavier, as if urging you to find a quieter corner, maybe upstairs, where sleep waits, but so do risks. Will a creaky bed upstairs hide answers or more trouble? The tavern's smoky haze drifts around you, a dreamy veil of ale and embers. The hearth's soft crackle, weaving a soothing hum as your rune-marked copper coin pulses warm in your pouch. Its spiral rune, a faint spark in the dim light. You're slumped at the dice table, the craftsman's knife carving slow arcs beside you, while the crowd's murmurs hum like a sleepy tide tales of brawls and lost bets. The one-eyed dog beneath the bench still watches, its gaze sharp as if it knows you're chasing your lost friend's trail. The brawl's chaos lingers, spilled ale, a shattered mug, the barmaid's sharp glare, but the keeper's ladle has restored order. For now. The pottage and ale weigh heavy, the sign's bare-barrel mystery, and the bard's tale of a lost traveler nagging at you. Your eyes grow heavy, the tavern's din fading like a distant lullaby, and you realize sleep's calling. A creaky staircase looms in the corner, leading to shared rooms upstairs. Will they hide answers about your friend or just more trouble? You grip your coin, its warmth urging caution, and rise, weaving through the crowd toward the splintery steps. The staircase creaks under your boots, each step groaning like it's protesting your weight. The air grows colder, the hearth's warmth fading as you climb, the tavern's noise softening below. At the top, a narrow hall leads to a small room, its door ajar, revealing straw-stuffed mattresses on a dirt floor, lumpy and thin. Historical fact: medieval taverns often doubled as inns, offering shared beds of straw or rushes for travelers too poor for private rooms. Maybe your friend slept here before vanishing. You step inside, the floorboards sighing, and spot 3 mattresses, each crowded with snoring strangers. The air smells of sweat, garlic, and something musty, probably the companions crawling in the straw. Joke 1. You bet those bedbugs are throwing their own tavern party, and you're not invited. You pick a mattress near the wall, its straw crunching under you as you sit, fully clothed, your dagger tucked close, not for comfort, but survival. The coin's warmth pulses, as if it's tied to this place. Did your friend sleep here, clutching a similar rune-marked coin? You glance at the sleepers, a burly trader snoring like a bellows, a pilgrim muttering prayers in his dreams. Sharing a bed's normal here, but privacy's a myth. Quirky tidbit: some taverns rented blankets by the hour, shared by dozens, spreading fleas faster than gossip. Imagine the itch. You smirk, pulling your cloak tight, hoping to avoid those companions. The room's cold, the walls stained with soot, a greasy cloth covering the window, barely keeping out the night's chill. The tavern's hum drifts up, a sleepy chaos of clinking mugs and the bard's fading song. You lie back, the straw poking through the mattress like a bad joke. The keeper's storm cloud gaze lingers in your mind. Does she know who slept here? Last scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether tavern lodgings were safe havens or risky dens, with records showing travelers found rest or robbery in equal measure. If your friend slept here, did they leave a clue or lose their purse? You check your pouch, the coin's rune catching a sliver of moonlight. A snorer shifts, his arm flopping onto your space, and you nudge him back, wary of pickpockets even in sleep. The hearth's distant crackle soothes, a faint pulse in the quiet din, but your thoughts race. The sign's bare-barrel image, the bard's tale, the flirt's hint of a stranger with a coin all swirl, tied to your friend's fate. You recall the peddler's words about tavern troubles, maybe pointing to this very room. Joke 2, you're sure this mattress has more stories than the bard, and none of them end well. The dog's stare from below feels like it's followed you, judging your choice of bed. You need rest to keep searching, but sleep here's a gamble. Thieves, fleas, or worse, could lurk. The barmaids mutter about a stranger's fight echoes. Did your friend sleep here, or fight to leave you? Pull your dagger closer, its hilt a cold comfort, and try to relax. The coin's warmth steadies you, as if it's guarding your dreams. The room's snores rise, a chorus of strangers, and you wonder if one knows your friend's story. Joke 3, you bet the dog's sleeping better downstairs, probably dreaming of stolen bones. The tavern's energy fades, but the night's not done. Dawn will bring groggy regrets and new clues. If you survive the straw and its companions, you close your eyes, the creaky bed, your temporary refuge. But what waits when you wake? Will dawn's groggy haze reveal your friend's trail? The tavern's distant hum fades into a dreamy murmur, the hearth's faint crackle barely reaching the cold. Creaky room where you lie, your rune-marked copper coin pulsing warm in your pouch, its spiral rune a quiet glow in the moonlight sliver. You're sprawled on a lumpy straw mattress, the snores of strangers, a trader and a pilgrim, rumbling like a sleepy storm, while the one-eyed dog's stare from downstairs lingers in your mind, as if it knows you're chasing your lost friend's trail. The brawl's chaos, the flirt's slurred hints, the bard's wild tales, the pottage's grit, and the sign's bare-barrel mystery swirl in your thoughts, weighing as heavy as the ale in your stomach. Dawn creeps through the greasy cloth at the window, its pale light poking your eyelids like an uninvited guest. You stir, groggy and aching, the straw poking through your cloak like a bad memory. The tavern's quieter now, defeated, but the air's still thick with smoke and regret. Will this morning haze reveal a clue to your friend's fate, or just more trouble? You sit up, the bench creaking, and clutch your coin, its warmth urging you to keep searching. The room's a mess, blankets tangled, a boot dangling from a rafter, and a faint smell of garlic clinging to the air. You check your pouch, the coin's there, plus a button you don't remember owning. A win, considering the thieves that might have crept through the night. Historical fact. Medieval tavern mornings were groggy affairs, with patrons waking to watered-down ale and leftover pottage, often bartering stories or goods to settle tabs. Maybe your friend lingered here at dawn. You glance at the trader, still snoring, and the pilgrim, now muttering about sheep taxes. Joke one, you bet their dreams are livelier than the bard's songs, and twice as confusing. You stumble downstairs, the creaky staircase groaning like it's hung over too. The tavern's floor is littered with straw, bread crusts, and a stray chicken pecking at crumbs. No one questions where it came from. The keeper's already up, clattering mugs, sweeping straw into fresh piles, her ladle banging like a morning bell from hell. Her storm cloud eyes sweep over you, and you wonder if she knows who slept upstairs or who didn't make it down. Quirky tidbit. Some taverns served morning ale, so weak it was, basically water, meant to wake patrons without restarting the night's chaos. Imagine the grumbling when it ran dry. You smirk, dodging a pile of something sticky, and head for a bench near the hearth, its embers barely alive. The crowd's thinner now, a few early risers nursing mugs or headaches. A merchant groans, head in hands, muttering about a lost bet. You catch a snippet. That stranger last week, too clever with dice. Your heart skips your friend. The coin's warmth pulses, as if it's tied to this whisper. Scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether tavern mornings were for recovery or scheming, with records showing they were as much for trading gossip as settling debts. If your friend lingered here, did they leave a clue or a debt? You sit, the bench creaking, and scan for the barmaid, hoping she overheard that stranger's tale. The hearth's faint crackle soothes, a quiet rhythm in the groggy din, but your thoughts race. The sign's bare barrel image, the bard's song, the flirt's hint, and the brawl's chaos all point to your friend, but the trail's murky. You recall the peddler's words about tavern troubles. Did he mean this morning haze? The keeper slams a mug down, her glare daring anyone to complain. Joke two, you're sure her ladle's ready to enforce morning manners, probably scarier than a tax collector. The craftsman's gone, but his whittling marks remain on the table. Did he slip away with answers? The barmaid appears, carrying a tray of watery ale, and you catch her eye. Maybe she knows something. You sip the weak ale, its taste barely better than ditch water, and weigh your next move. The chicken pecks closer, and the dog's back, eyeing it like a rival. Joke three, you bet that dog's planning a coup against the chicken, and it'd probably win. Your coin feels heavier, as if urging you to ask about the stranger. The tavern's waking slowly. New faces trickling in, travelers, workers, maybe someone who saw your friend. You need to listen, but the morning's groggy haze is thick with regret and half-remembered tales. Will asking about that stranger stir up news or trouble? Will whispered gossip at dawn reveal your friend's secret? The tavern's groggy haze swirls around you, a soft fog of stale ale and dying embers. The hearth's faint crackle, a sleepy whisper as your rune-marked copper coin hums warm in your pouch. Its spiral rune, a quiet glow in the dawn's pale light. You're slumped on a creaky bench near the hearth, the craftsman long gone, while the morning's murmurs drift like a drowsy tide, grumbles of headaches and lost bets. The one-eyed dog sprawls nearby, its gaze sharp as if it knows you're chasing your lost friend's trail. The morning's regrets linger pottage's grit, ale's bite, the brawl's chaos, the flirt's hints, the bard's tales, the sign's bare-barrel mystery, all swirling in your mind. Now, new voices rise, whispered gossip from early risers, tales of wars and witches filtering through the tavern's smoky air. Could these rumors hold a clue to your friend's fate, or just more tavern smoke? You lean forward, the table scars rough under your palms, and strain to hear, your coin's warmth urging you to catch every word. A weathered traveler, his cloak patched, mutters to a merchant about a skirmish on the border, knights clashing under a blood-red moon. The merchant nods, whispering of a witch seen in the woods, eyes like fire, cursing crops. You perk up, your friend spoke of witches before vanishing. Historical fact. Medieval taverns were gossip hubs, where news of wars, plagues, or local scandals spread faster than on horseback. Maybe your friend's story passed through here. The traveler's voice drops lower, mentioning a stranger with a marked coin who fled town after a brawl. Your heart skips, the coin's rune pulses, as if it's part of this tale. Joke one, you bet that gossip's spicier than the pottage, and twice as hard to swallow. You sip your watery morning ale, its taste barely better than mud, and edge closer to the pair. The tavern's waking slowly, new faces trickling in workers, travelers, a pilgrim clutching a rosary. The keeper's storm cloud eyes sweep from her plank, her ladle clattering as she stirs a pot of reheated pottage. Does she know these rumors, or your friend's fate? Quirky tidbit. Some taverns had gossip boards, scratched with news or bets, a medieval bulletin board for rumors. Imagine the secrets carved there. You smirk, picturing the dog scratching its own tail. The merchant's voice dips, hinting at a stranger who knew too much and vanished after a dice game. Could that be your friend? The hearth's faint crackle soothes, a quiet pulse in the groggy din. But your thoughts race? The sign's bare-barrel image, the bard's song, the flirt's words, and the brawl's chaos all point to a stranger with a coin, your friend. You recall the peddler's cryptic tavern troubles, maybe tied to these whispers. Scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether tavern gossip was reliable news or wild fiction, with records showing it sparked both alliances and witch hunts. If your friend's story is in these rumors, someone here knows more. You glance at the barmaid, sweeping straw, her ears likely catching every word. Could she spill a secret if you ask? You keep your coin hidden, its warmth urging caution. The traveler's tale turns to a cursed coin that brought bad luck too close to your own. You need to probe without outing yourself. The keeper slams a mug down, her glare daring complaints. Joke two, you're sure her ladle could silence a war. Never mind a rumor. The dog shifts, eyeing the chicken pecking nearby, as if plotting its own gossip. You lean toward the merchant, ready to ask about the stranger, but his eyes flick to your pouch. Does he recognize the rune? The tavern's hum grows, new voices adding to the din tales of a lost traveler, a shadowed figure. Your pulse quickens. You're close to something. You take another sip, the ale's weak warmth fading, and weigh your next move. The barmaid's close, her broom stirring dust, and you catch her muttering about a stranger's coin from last week. Your friend's trail is here, woven into the tavern's whispers. Joke three, you bet the dog's gossiping better than these two, probably spreading tales of stolen bones. The keeper's eyes linger, as if she senses your eavesdropping. You need to keep listening, but the morning's haze is lifting, and the tavern's waking to its full, chaotic life. Will chasing these rumors lead you to your friend, or deeper into the tavern's secrets? Will the tavern's chaotic life reveal your friend's fate?